Hello, this is Danny from Danny Design Studio, and I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator in the UK, and I'm going to be showing you how to make this adorable cookie card. So I based this idea on a shadow box frame card, which is nothing new, but I've sized it so that it will contain a cookie that you can buy from the supermarket. But there's plenty of nice recipes for cookies if you wanted to design your own. And it's just, I made this into a thank you card, but you can make it into an Easter card or anything you like really. So it contains a little cookie, shop bought cookie, and you can see this is the shadow box frame design, sort of a square design. So the papers are taken from the mini catalogue that's current at the moment. So it starts on page 23. It's all the storybook moments, and I've done the storybook friends. I've used this, the dies, these papers and these papers as well. So what we are creating first is the shadow box to hold our cookie. Now and then we'll create the book part of it. So I need a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock, and I've cut it down to 10 by 10 by 10 inches, and then I'm scoring it at a half, 1, 1.5 and 2 all the way round. Now let us put that there so you can see, and I've done it around all the other sides, and then I'm just going to do the last side, show you. So scoring, take your cutter out the way. I think I have to put this on this side as I'm right-handed. So half an inch, 1 inch, 1.5 and 2. So you get something like that on all 4 sides. Okay, so then the next bit is take one of the sides, any side, and you're going to score again at 2.5 inches. So, and then I'm only scoring down to the second score line, and then I'm stopping. So I'm going to get my scorer, and I'm going to line that little indentation on the scorer with my line, my score line, and then go up. Okay, that's that one, and then turn it round, do the same on all 4 sides. I'm going to have to do it this way. So it's 7.5, 7.5, do the same. Got a frog in my throat this morning for some reason. So 7.5 and 2.5. So that's on these 2 sides, that side and this side, 7.5, just down to the first score, to the second score line, beg your pardon, 2.5 and 7.5. Just check I've done all 4 sides. So 2.5 I've done, 7.5. And have I done that side, that side, that side, that side? Yes, done it all. Okay, we are ready to cut. Well, actually, let's burnish first. Burnish all the long score lines. Burnish it really, really well, because that is what will give you a good frame. This is the important bit. Also, the important bit I found is, and I haven't really got a good clean bone folder, but clean hands, clean bone folder, clean paper, really clean as much as possible, only because your frame, especially if it's light, will just pick up anything, any little bit on your paper that you're scoring on. Your hands, if you've got inky hands, or your tools. So don't have, I only cleaned this yesterday, but you wouldn't know, would you? So don't do as I do, do as I say. That's the saying, but I've managed to avoid anything so far. It's the actual front of the frame, that's what is important, because that's what people will see basically. Now that, can you see, that's gone over the score line, so that hasn't been cut, scored properly. Let's just take that down, and then I've broken this, but that's the bit you're not going to see, so I'm fine with it. Unless it comes over, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that looks. Just going to take that out of the way. Okay, so what you have got to do, you've got a section like this. Can't see that score line. Okay, let's put it the other way. Maybe you'll see it. That score line, and then you've got a block of little squares. So you're going to cut up that score line to create, this is what we're creating. I'm going to cut up that score line to the second score line, and then turn it round. I'm then going to cut diagonally across to that corner. I can cut through, it doesn't matter because I'm not going to see that bit. Then I'm going to cut up, and then I'm going to cut across here. I want to go this side just because it's easier. So you're going to get a little section like that. Okay, do that on all four corners. Speed this part of the video up if you want. this bit, just going to take it up there and go across, and I've already done that bit. So you should get, this is the one I haven't done, that score line up here, across. So that is, get rid of my rubbish. That is what it should look like. So you've got these little, that little shape, okay? So I haven't got that shape on that side, have I? Missed out one. Okay, let's do that one. Okay, so that should be correct now. Okay, so then I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to do this side. It's basically going to go in like that, and this is going to go in like that. That's how you can see the shape coming along. Okay, so this flap, the inside flap, I want to put tear and tape along here. I'm just going to burnish it a little bit. Right up to the score line. Take your pick tool, take that off. Then unravel it, fold it in half. So you've got two of the long flaps. Now this should be flush with that score line, and it isn't. So I'm just going to move it slightly so that it is. It's not going to go. It's not going to go. So I might have to just snip that off. Let's see how it goes. It should be flush, but I'm just going to put like that, and then as I turn it, this has got to, that little flap inside has got to be within the crease of the card, and then I'm going to turn it over. Let's see how that is. Yeah, it still worked. There, you've got a little cube. Okay, so the other side. Right up to the edge, as close to it as you can. Got a little bit over. I'm going to tuck that in a bit. There we go. And then push that, press that down. This is a better fold. It's gone into the crease a bit more. Not. Now fold that over in half, and then fold that over, and then keep it into the crease of the card. Fold over, press down hard, and that should make your little cube. Let's do the other side. So outer edge, and I'm going to put it right to the edge of the card because that's going to go in the crease. Stick it down properly. Fold it in half and then bring that over as I am putting it into the crease of the card. This is the hardest bit to it because you want to keep these corners nice and flush, really. But this is the corner bits are what you're going to see. So last side. Got a bit too much there. You can get overzealous with the tape. Right, then fold it in half and then bring it over. This is the hardest one. And there we go. You can put a bit of glue in there if you at the what you need to do is put the glue on. I find put the glue on now. And then need to hold it there. Or put something on top of it, really. Bit of extra glue here. It's worth, I know this takes, it's a bit, can be a bit fiddly, but this is the main part of the card and it's important to get this bit nice and flush with everything because otherwise that's the main part that people are going to see and that's the cookie part. So it's worth persevering. I always think take your time. If need be, put something on it. Get the extra bit of glue off. Problem is you do want the glue on there, enough glue, but you don't want it oozing around on the outside. So that's not really wanting to stick down very well. So I'm going to put something on it. My papers. Let's see how that goes. Go on to the next bit now. So you want to create the bit that goes around it, the book sort of frame, the frame of the card. So what I have done is coordinated the colours. So you need two pieces, the outer cover, two pieces of 6 3/4 by 6 1/4, and then you want to score on one side at 5/8. Now this might be slightly bigger, so you might have to take a bit off, but some shadow boxes comes out a little bit bigger, so I wanted to give you excess and then you can adjust it accordingly. So put that there. So this, just burnish score lines. Now you can either decorate it now or you can decorate it once you put it together. I'm going to see if it's ready. There we go. So that's your shadow box. See what side's the nicest. So that flap is going to come round like that, and you see that you've got a little rim around the outside. My first one that I did didn't have a rim, and I felt like it needed it just a little bit. So this is going to be too long, you can see. So I'm going to just take just a little bit off, 1/8. Don't forget you've got 2 of these, so let's just see how that looks. Even just slightly a bit more. Put it in and then adjust it. Just that much. Yeah, that's better. A bit more flush then. So let's see how much this is. It's about 1/2 inch. So let's see what this is. I'll do the same with that. Okay. So I'm going to put glue on this side. Bring that right up. Make sure that it's, yeah, it is, because it's not quite a square. So you just need to adjust. Bring that right up to that score line, making sure, oh dear, making sure that that is equal on both sides here, and then bring it up. Sitting down to see how it's doing. Give that a few minutes, and then I've got the other one. Burnish that one. That is going to come up on the top like that. So glue again. And just pop that flat down there, and then bring that over. And once you've done it, just make sure the glue is dry, and you should have a little frame. I'm just going to make sure that glue is dry, and then what I will do is bend that flap over and sort of crease it on that side as well. But in the meantime, while that's dry, I'm going to get my ribbon. So I've got about 32 inches of ribbon here, and that's the ribbon from the suite. It's petal pink, and it's a lovely little scalloped edge on there. So make sure you get it on the right side, and then take it in, put it in half, and then take that half, that side and that side, so you've got 2 equal ends, and then you're ready to cut your DSP. Just going to keep it in place with this and the other side. Make sure these are taut like that, and then keep that to one side. And then I've got my DSP. So I want this one around the edge, and this one just as a layer. I just think it's quite a pretty layer. So the DSP for the front and back is 6 3/4 by 6 1/4. So 6 3/4 is, let's just make sure, 6 3/4. So that's 6 1/4. 6 3/4. Oh dear, let me get my, it doesn't sound right. I think I've written it down wrong. 6 by 6 1/4. So your DSP, yeah, I'm looking at the wrong thing. So front DSP is 5 3/4 by 6. That's right. So 5 3/4. So 6. This is 6 by 6 1/4. So the longer part is this side. So if you see the orientation of your paper, 6 and 6 is across here. So you need to make your 5 3/4 mark on this side. So 5 3/4, and that should be 6. That should be 6 already. So that fits perfectly. And then the same thing. So that is a 6, 5 3/4. So that's your front and back. Let's do that now. Let's glue that on. You could use this side. This is beautiful as well. But I like the colours that you can see in these papers. That is actually cherry cobbler. It's beautiful. Obviously watercoloured on. So these images. But stunning. There we go. So it's coming together. Now it's dry, I'm just going to glue that back a little bit. Still coming apart, this. Need to put more glue on it, but I'm not going to bore you with that. Okay, so we need to get our inside flap. DSP 5 7/8 by 6. I'm going to put that there so you can see it. I've ended up not having another layer, so I'm just going to leave it like that. So that's going to go on there. And then inside, we'll see if it just about goes in. So your inside frame, I'll leave that here as well. Your inside frame DSP is 4 7/8 by 4 7/8. I've left it in inches. I'm not familiar with inches really, but it was just kinder on the actual measurements with the inches rather than the centimeters. So I've kept it like that because anything for ease, basically. So then we are in the process of decorating. So as you can see from here, from the papers, you've got all these lovely little images, and you've got some beautiful little die cut images. So the Storybook Friends, you've got this one, and you've got this one, and you've got these, and these will colour some of the images out. So they're really lovely, and I've used that one for the outside. I think I've used that one for the inside. So I've got them all cut out here, and that one. Or I could use, maybe I will use this one because this is more sort of colourful. But I've cut that out twice, because basically that will give you an inner sort of not a circle, an oval. So I want it like this. So I had to cut it out in cream, and I'm going to use that for another project. So that is what I'm going to put up for the inside. Now this, I think it's quite, because these are all watercolour images, and I just felt I needed to bring in a little bit of colour to this image, because it's all very stark. This is, what colour is this? Let me just check what colour I've used. Calypso Coral, that is what is in it. But I'm just going to put a bit of colour on here with my blending brush, and this is in Cherry Cobbler. So I'm going to come out and then just give it, not all of it, just a bit. Dab. And it's not so stark. You don't have to do this, but if I give you a little bit of, just trying to get a piece of Calypso Coral, see this, that would be the colour, and this I've just coloured a little bit with Cherry Cobbler, just to give it a little bit more sort of blending with these colours here. So then I have got a little bit of layering, green, Mossy Meadow on a cream, and the green is 3 7/8, put that there, 3 7/8 by 3, and then the cream, very vanilla, is 3 1/4 by 2 7/8. That's going to mount onto there, but in there I want to write my message, so I'm going to write that in Mossy Meadow, and this I'm going to put as Easter greetings. And then I want to mount this frame on dimensionals, just to give it a bit of dimension here. Plenty of dimensions, just so that we know it's not going to come off. And that is going to mount onto here. Make sure it's straight. There. Now, just to say that with this you've got a little strip of paper. It's too big for that, but I thought I'll just cut it slightly. That's the strip you've got left, but you can actually use it. You want it going to be a bit tricky. Just want to slither off. Or you can just leave it as it is, it's up to you. You can pop that there. Good way of using up scraps, because I would never use that. But again, you don't have to. You think it's a bit too fiddly. But that just finishes it off. So then I'm going to pop that on the front like that, with just put it flat, because my images that I'm going to put on there, you can see that that blending just gives it a little bit of a different, slightly different colour. And then I have got some bits and pieces here that I've already taken off. These are little images that are already cut for you, and I thought this is quite cute, so I'm going to put that on there. Now I'm going to put little dimensional on there because that's already raised up. Can't see for looking. So just a bit of dimension on the edge here, and then a bit of glue on this. So that's the dimension there, and then this is going to go behind here. So just tuck that, put a bit of glue on there. That's going to go flatter like that, and then inside you need to pop that on dimensionals. So that's going to go in the middle, and this is going to go flat with a few little glue dots in the bigger part of the die cut. Try not to put too bigger blobs. That's going to go around the frame, and that's going to go flat onto the page. Oops. And then I've got two little images here. That is going to go across there. And again. Put glue on the top, dimension on the bottom, and that is going to go on there. So then my cookie will go in here, and that is a little cookie card. I'm just going to show you how to do a little bow for the inside. So that's the cookie card. I just want to show you with my cookie, just in a cellophane wrap, this is a little bow. I wanted to show you how to quickly do a little bow. So that you can see properly, we'll use that for another time. Turn it over, get that much amount, 6 inches or so for a little bow. I'm going to get my index finger on that side, put my ribbon around it, hold it with my other hand, and then go round. I'm going to create a loop round here, and then I'm going to put that ribbon through that loop. So go around, I've created a loop, put that ribbon through the loop, and then pull. Now that is too huge, but you're going to adjust it. You're going to adjust the little bow and then adjust it until you are happy with it. Pull, tighten, loosen, do whatever you need to do to get the size that you want. Now I've got a little bit too much here, so I'm just going to cut that. Still not happy with that bow, but anyway, you get the gist. If I spent a little bit more time just adjusting those little loops. But anyway, that is your bow. So that is the Easter card, Easter cookie card, and you can adjust this to any papers you like. So thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.